Now, we mentioned the ECHL. How about the Walleye? Pretty good start to the postseason. 2 games, 2 wins. And how about the firepower? Christian Hilbrick leads all ECHL postseason goal scorers with 4. Tyler Barnes and Kyle Bonus, line mates, are 1-2 in playoff points with Hilbrick right behind them. And a trip to Indy on the docket for Wednesday and Game 3.
You work in the regular season to get home ice advantage, and then once you got it, you gotta, it doesn't mean anything if you don't win. So you got to go out there and put the puck in the net, and we've been fortunate enough to do that more than they have.
When you work so hard for home ice, you've got to take care of it, and that's what we did. That's all we've done is take care of home ice. So until a road team wins a game, there's that old cliche, until a road team wins a game, then it becomes a series. So we've got to go there with the mindset that we want to get that next one.
Oh, it is that time. We're so happy to be joined by Matt Melzak. Now, at this time of year, we've talked about it before. He is not only the voice of the Toledo Walleye, he's the voice of the Toledo Mud Hens. 2 things going on simultaneously in his life. Matt, your favorite time of the year, right?
It really is. Every day I got something going on. Love it. Could we do a game every day? Let's try.
Yes, and in some cases, twice or 2 in one day. But we'll move away from that. All right, you're here to talk Walleye right now, and I mean it could go no better for the Fish in the first 2 games of this playoff series, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, you're 2-0. So yes, there is no better start than what Toledo has gone through. You really had to. When you're in the 2-3-2 format, Eric, it puts a lot of pressure on the home team to win those home games. And, of course, Toledo was so good this year at the Huntington Center, 28 wins, a new Walleye record for most in a single season. You had to take care of business at home. And, give Indy credit. I thought they played great in both games, maybe as good as they've played against Toledo all season long. I thought they were fantastic. I think Toledo, there's certainly some areas where I think they can get a little bit better. But boy, yeah, you can't complain when you go 2-0 to start your playoff run.
All right, a couple of big storylines obviously coming out of the first 2 games. Let's start with first and foremost with the Connor Cripps suspension. And I think if you ask any hockey fan or hockey player on the Walleye or in the Walleye organization, they're going to tell you what he did was right and it should have happened. Is that your take?
Well, I mean, he came to the defense of a teammate. Christian Hilbrick takes a very wicked hit to the head along the boards. I mean, if you look at it again, it's tough to watch. It's amazing that he did not end up with a concussion or worse than just getting a couple of stitches put into his forehead. That's it for Christian Hilbrick. That's lucky because Garrett Clark came plenty of strides, charging across the ice to hit him up high. Really, he had no clue that hit was coming either. That's a really dangerous play. And the league came down and suspended Garrett Clark for yesterday as well. They should have. And, Connor Cripps, did he go a little too far with the extra punch? Yes. But you know what? It is playoffs. There is that. We've seen guys go and do things that maybe you don't want to see happen during a game. We saw it last year in the playoffs. Connor Cripps, he just went ahead and wanted to make sure he got a punch in on Garrett Clark at some point. He did that. He's been suspended for it, missed yesterday's game. He'll be back on Wednesday, though. I thought it was the right call from the league, too. You get a match penalty, you do something like that, you got to get suspended for a game. He did.
Is there any truth to the rumor that Garrett Clark will also be receiving an Oscar nomination for his efforts?
Well, I mean, I don't know the extent of his injury. I'm not sure if he would have played yesterday, if he wasn't suspended or not. We'll see if he plays on Wednesday. I think that would be the telling sign there.
Okay, and you mentioned Christian Hilbrick. I mean, this guy, the video is fantastic of touching the stick and it's burning. I mean, do we expect this kind of play from him when we acquired him at the beginning of the year?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Dan Watson did think that he could have this kind of performances from Christian Hilbrick, and we have seen that during the course of the regular season. Remember, he scored over 20 goals. This isn't a fluke, this guy scored 2 goals all season. He's got 4 in the playoffs. It's not that way. He scored over 20 goals this year. He's got talent to score a lot of goals. And you know what? When you get into the playoffs, a guy like him, and I think both Kyle Rogers, Scott Pollock said it as well on the broadcast yesterday, he goes into the dirty areas. He's at the net front. He's around the cage. He's in positions to score. And those are guys, and he's tough to move because of that big body of his. So he fits right in with what you need in playoff hockey. When you start looking at the National Hockey League, the AHL, the ECHL, where are all the goals being scored? They're not rushing down the wing, letting these great shots go that go, into the back of the net. It's a lot of dirty goals. It's a lot of, you look at Columbus's game winner last night in the NHL. It's right net front in overtime. You have to get to the front of the cage to score goals in the playoffs. That fits what Christian Hilbrick does to a T.